My name is Bill Canavan, and I'm Sean Canavan's brother who attends this organization, which is a wonderful organization to begin with.
My name is Sue Green. I have a 25-year-old son named Kyle with autism.
I'm Nicholas Colasico, 25 years old.
Hi, and I'm Joe Colasico.
And I'm Susan Colasico.
And we're the Colasico family.
My name is Kathy, and this is our son Jake, who's 25 years old and is on the spectrum.
I think in general people sort of see what's in the movies and they all generalize autism as what they've seen in a movie, where it's a lot more complex than that. Some are very, very high functioning, and maybe they're off a little bit from a social cues perspective, and some are unfortunately in a much worse situation. So it's such a huge spectrum. It's hard to tell people about that unless you've lived it or know people very closely in it.
The world needs to be a little bit more aware of what you know about one autistic person doesn't necessarily help the current autistic person that you're with at that moment. It's very individual, and I as a parent am really starting to understand that better just in navigating the world with Kyle.
So, both Todd and I hope that we're healthy enough now in our late 50s, age 60, that we are well enough to continue to care for Jake and for him to be full-time at home as he is with us now. But we know that over time we may need increasing support. We do have, some caregiver support at home, and Jake is able to do some community things, but probably be it also because of his developmental delays, he must be supported all the time. Even though he has challenges, we still have goals for him. Some things we think, some doors are closed and we think, we've tried, that hasn't worked. We just keep trying to reopen doors, try to help him learn new skills and become as independent as he can be within a comfortable sort of framework for him.
Care is not cheap, and people that you have providing care need to have a living wage, and that doesn't come cheap. It's a very expensive endeavor, even for his day programs, to find a day program that's actually going to provide him with good opportunities and provide him with good stimulation and help him develop skills. To find that kind of program, you're talking significantly more money than a daycare program would be. If you want, you can find daycare programs for autistic people, but they're just daycare services where they provide just supervision for the day. But for an actual educational skill building program, it's you're talking close to $200 a day by the time you pay for supplies and time. Kids like Kyle were the rarity when they were young. He was the only kid at his school. It was a very small rural school, but he was the only kid at his school with autism. So he was a celebrity, and the school celebrated him. I have a friend now who's a teacher, and she's got at least one in every class every year. And so parents are talking about this tsunami of children coming through the system who are going to become autistic adults, and there isn't anything out there for them. There isn't anything for Kyle that we can work on skills and independence and that sort of thing without a significant financial output. And there is no community structure for that. So something like Autism Home Base is great because we're getting the socialization, getting some skill building, and actually just being noticed by society as a whole, and realizing that there's a need for it.
For our life, it has meant that Jake has needed a routine. We spend much of every day making sure that we reduce anxiety and keep things really predictable for him. So we do a lot of the same things, have a lot of the same conversations, and really be aware of sensory issues. What's joyous for us is, although routine and predictability are so important, it's very joyful when you do get a good routine and Jake follows it. So once that happens, it's really makes life much happier for him and for us, because he knows the routine and he gets so much comfort from following that routine. that can be really joyful too. When it's just he finds the right space and he's content.
How do you like the Autism Home Base?
It's great. The Autism Home Base is great.
It has been.
He's enjoyed the last year. I'm glad about
Absolutely.
it.
It's just really nice to talk to people that are going through similar situations and supporting each other.
Tuesday's great because you have Roxanne, who's wonderful, who brings up the best. I think in the music, Sean loves to come Tuesdays to see Roxanne and Haley, and they do the crafts, and that is his level where he feels comfortable doing, and also the Wednesdays, he loves swimming.
What do you like to do? We were talking about this morning, the sensory
Well,
room. What do you like in there?
sensory well.
Yeah, you like the lights?
Yeah. Just as I got here.
And I think you like the comfy chair
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
We initially looked at home base because as Kyle was getting into adulthood, we were realizing he was becoming more and more isolated. He was no longer attending school and there's very little programs around for him. So we initially looked into it for his integration and for his social rec and for him to make connections. And what we didn't realize was that actually as parents, we also needed connections. So the thing I like about Autism Home Base is that Kyle can come and he makes his connections and he meets people and he gets integrated. But as a parent, you can meet other parents in a very similar situation, and it's a very accepting environment. So when we go to events, we can let our kids be our kids. I call them kids, but we can let our adult autistic children be who they are.
Thank you for caring for families like ours